What's going on, boys? Big question this year in everyone's fantasy draft. Who's going number one? A lot of people are saying it's going to be Leveon Bell or Todd Gurley. So today we're going to compare the two and give my best prediction of who I think will have the better fantasy football season this coming year. So before I get into the video, if you guys haven't already subscribed, I'd appreciate if you click that subscribe button, show some love, and maybe check out some other videos after you're done watching this one. Now let's get into it. First off, off the rip, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell that, no matter who you pick, whether it's Leveon Bell, Todd Gurley, they're not going to be the reason why you lose your draft this season, all right? I learned last year better than anybody that you can do all the research in the world. You can get what you think is about to be the best player in the draft, David Johnson, and then everyone knows what happened last year. David Johnson, first half of the first game of the season, out for the rest of the season. Huge curveball, huge knuckleball for my fantasy season. Anyway, let's jump into last year's stats. Like I said, though, as we know, you can't predict anything. Most of you guys already know Leveon Bell and Todd Gurley, they both had almost an identical season last year. Pretty similar numbers. Todd Gurley did beat him out in pretty much every category, though. So Todd Gurley, 279 rushing attempts, 1,305 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns. We got Leveon Bell, 321 rushing attempts, a lot more actually. 1,291 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. You go down to receiving. Todd Gurley, he had 64 receptions, 788 yards, 6 touchdowns. Leveon Bell, 85 receptions, 655 yards, 2 touchdowns. Similar seasons. Todd Gurley definitely had the better season. But the big thing coming out this year is, as Jared Goff is progressing as a quarterback, they picked up Brandon Cooks. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be a lot more passing this year than running. They've been relying on Todd Gurley a lot. 2 years ago, Todd Gurley was actually a huge bust. I picked him up in one of my main leagues 2 years ago. First round pick. He didn't do anything because the offense didn't have any weapons. The defenses were loading up the box on him every single game, just torturing the poor guy. Again, it's a curveball, but I think Todd Gurley's going in the right direction. Leveon Bell, a lot of websites, ESPN, I believe NFL, Fantasy Pros, all of them have Leveon Bell number one overall, whether it's PPR or standard, because it's kind of the same thing going into the season. We already know the Steelers' offense. We know Ben Roethlisberger's getting older, so they're going to rely a lot more on Leveon Bell. I mean, when I was reading the stats off, I didn't really realize how many more rushing attempts he had than Todd Gurley. 321 rushing attempts to Todd Gurley's 279 rushing attempts. But, I mean, right there is where I guess I would have to lean towards Todd Gurley this season because, I don't know, like I said, the big thing is people saying that they think that Jared Goff is going to throw a lot to Brandon Cooks. They're going to really try to emphasize on the pass game, which is going to be true, but, I mean, saying that Todd Gurley is going to do not as good because they have Brandon Cooks, it's kind of like, well, I mean, Leveon Bell has Antonio Brown, who's another first-round draft pick in fantasy leagues, and that doesn't really hinder his production too much. If I had the number one draft pick, even though ESPN, NFL, all these big websites, Fantasy Pros, they're saying Leveon Bell, I think I'm going towards Todd Gurley. I like the direction the Rams are going. Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, I think they're going to score a boatload of touchdowns, that offense this season. Like I said, I mean, we can look at the stats all we want last year. Todd Gurley had the better season, but that really doesn't mean anything. For all we know, David Johnson can come back and have a better season than both of them. Or Ezekiel Elliott can come in and have a better season than both of them. You just don't know. But if I had to choose between Todd Gurley, Leveon Bell, I just like the young, energetic, powerhouse offense that the Rams have. They're both probably going to have identical seasons again this year. I just think Todd Gurley's going in the right direction. So that's my answer. Todd Gurley, the second, is who I'd pick up with my first overall draft pick of the 2018 fantasy football season. Again, if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you click subscribe, show your boys some love. Maybe check out some other videos on my channel. Peace.